Welcome to Innovation Pulse, your quick, no-nonsense update covering the latest in startups and entrepreneurship news. Yoodli, a Seattle-based AI startup, raised its valuation to over $300 million with a Series B round. Awear, focusing on stress management wearables, is testing its product with Stanford University. After this, we'll dive deep into Anthropic's study on AI use among professionals, exploring the gap between perceived and actual AI integration in the workplace. Yoodli, a Seattle-based AI-powered communication training startup, has rapidly increased its valuation to over $300 million following a $40 million Series B round, led by Westbridge Capital. Founded by Varun Puri, formerly of Google's X division, and ex-Apple engineer Isha Joshi, Yoodli offers AI-driven tools for enhancing communication skills through simulated scenarios like sales calls and interviews. Unlike many AI tools that stoke fears of job automation, Yoodli aims to enhance human skills with structured practice rather than replace them. Initially designed for public speaking, Yoodli's platform has expanded its focus to enterprise training, offering role plays and experiential learning for companies such as Google and Snowflake. The platform supports multiple languages and integrates with various large language models like OpenAI's GPT. Although Yoodli doesn't provide a mobile app, it offers web-based access to avoid complicating training sessions. Yoodli's unique approach lies in its customizable platform, tailored to specific training needs and methodologies, distinguishing it from competitors. Operating with a team of about 40 employees, Yoodli plans to use its recent funding to enhance AI coaching tools and expand its market presence, particularly in the Asia-Pacific region. Awear is a startup founded by Antonio Ferenza, who identified a gap in the consumer health market for stress management wearables. Utilizing the electroencephalogram technology, traditionally used for diagnosing disorders like epilepsy, Awear is designed to measure brain activity associated with stress. The device, worn behind the ear, continuously monitors brainwaves and sends data to an app that offers mood insights and AI-driven coaching for stress management. Awear aims to help users recognize and manage stress before it leads to serious health issues like anxiety and depression. It's targeted at individual consumers, much like the Oura Ring, and is currently being tested by Stanford University for detecting post-surgery confusion in elderly patients. Priced at $195 for early adopters, Awear includes a lifetime app subscription. The startup has already secured pre-seed funding from notable investors and plans to raise a $5 million seed round in 2026, with further plans for a Kickstarter campaign for broader visibility and customer acquisition. And now, pivot our discussion towards the main entrepreneurship topic.
Welcome back to Innovation Pulse. I'm Donna, and today I've got Yakov Lasker joining me, CTO, tech leader, and someone who's spent way too much time thinking about how AI is reshaping work. Yakov, thanks for being here.
Happy to be here, Donna. And I've got to start with something wild. Anthropic just interviewed 1,250 professionals about how they use AI. But here's the kicker. They didn't hire a research team to do it. They had Claude, their AI, conduct all the interviews.
Wait, hold up. An AI interviewing people about how they feel about AI? That's like asking your Roomba what it thinks about vacuum cleaners.
Exactly. And the results, they're not what you'd expect. There's this massive gap between what people say they're doing with AI and what they're actually doing.
Okay, you've got my attention. Let's unpack this.
So Anthropic released this research yesterday, December 4th, and they've made all the interview transcripts public. They talked to a general workforce sample, plus targeted groups of creatives and scientists. The tool they built, called Anthropic Interviewer, can run hundreds of interviews simultaneously, then analyze patterns across all of them.
That's a fundamentally different scale than traditional qualitative research. I mean, running 1,350 in-depth interviews manually would take what? Months? Years?
And cost a fortune. But here's why this matters right now. Millions of people are using AI daily, but we've only been able to see what happens inside the chat window. We had no idea what people do with the outputs afterward, how they feel about it, whether it's actually helping them.
So this is the first time we're getting that bigger picture.
Right. And the picture is complicated, because people are absolutely using AI more than they're willing to admit.
Okay, so what's this gap you mentioned?
When Anthropic asked people to describe how they use AI, 65% said it's augmentation. The AI is helping them, collaborating with them on tasks. Only 35% said it's automation, where the AI is just doing the work directly.
That sounds reasonable. Most people probably think of themselves as still in control, right?
That's what they think. But when Anthropic actually analyzed real Claude conversations, not self-reports, but actual usage data, the numbers were completely different. 47% augmentation, 49% automation. Almost a perfect split.
Whoa, that's a massive discrepancy. So people are describing their relationship with AI as way more collaborative than it actually is?
Bingo. And there are a few possible explanations. Maybe people refine AI outputs after the chat ends, so it looks more automated in the conversation than it really is. Or maybe, and this is the more interesting possibility, we want to see ourselves as in control, even when we're not.
That's kind of uncomfortable to think about.
Oh, it gets more uncomfortable. Let me tell you about the creatives.
I'm guessing they're not thrilled about AI?
Actually, they're using it heavily. 97% reported AI saves them time, 68% said it increases quality. One web writer went from producing 2,000 words a day to over 5,000. A photographer cut turnaround time from 12 weeks to 3 weeks.
Those are huge productivity gains.
Massive. But here's the thing. 70% of them mentioned trying to hide it from their peers. One map artist literally said, "I don't want my brand tied to AI and the stigma that surrounds it."
So they're getting real benefits, but feel like they have to keep it secret?
Exactly, and then there's this deeper tension about control. All 125 creative professionals said they want to remain in control of their creative outputs. But when you dig into the interviews, many of them admitted the AI is actually driving decisions.
Wait, give me an example.
One artist said, "The AI is driving 60% of the concepts. I simply try to guide it." A musician admitted, "I hate to say it, but the plugin has most of the control when using this." These are people who want to believe they're in charge, but their actual experience tells a different story.
That's that perception gap again. But now it's about creative control.
And underneath all of this is real economic anxiety. A voice actor said, flat out, certain sectors of voice acting have essentially died due to AI. A creative director acknowledged, "I fully understand that my gain is another creative's loss. That product photographer I used to pay $2,000 per day is not getting my business anymore."
Yikes! So they're benefiting from the technology while watching it displace their colleagues.
And potentially themselves in the future. One artist said, "Realistically, I'm worried I'll need to keep using generative AI just to keep up in the marketplace so I can make a living." It's almost like a prisoner's dilemma. If everyone else is using AI and you're not, you fall behind.
Okay, but scientists, they were more rational about this stuff, right? More data-driven?
You'd think. But they've got the opposite problem from creatives. Scientists desperately want AI to help with their core research. Hypothesis generation, experimental design. But 79% said they can't trust it enough yet.
What's holding them back?
Hallucinations, mainly. An information security researcher put it perfectly. "If I have to double-check every single detail to make sure there are no mistakes, that defeats the purpose of having the agent do the work." A mathematician said, after spending time verifying AI output, "It ends up being the same amount of time."
So they're stuck using it for peripheral tasks?
Exactly. Literature reviews, writing manuscripts, debugging code. One food scientist said, "I wouldn't have known how to help my student with her code without AI tools." But for the actual science, the hypothesis generation, they're not there yet.
That's interesting because scientists aren't worried about job displacement like creatives are.
Not at all. They pointed to tacit knowledge that can't be digitized. A microbiologist described working with a bacterial strain where you had to initiate steps when the cells reached specific colors. The differences have to be seen to be understood and are seldom written down anywhere.
But 91% of them still want more AI assistance in research.
They do. They just want AI that actually works reliably. One medical scientist said, "I would love an AI that could feel like a valuable research partner, that could bring something new to the table." They're ready for it. The technology just isn't ready for them yet.
What about everyone else? The teachers, the office workers, the people in between.
This is where it gets really interesting. 86% said AI saves them time, but 69% mentioned social stigma around using it. One fact-checker told the interviewer, "A colleague recently said they hate AI, and I just said nothing. I don't tell anyone my process."
So even outside creative fields, people are hiding their AI use.
Yup. And 55% expressed anxiety about AI's impact on their future. But what I found fascinating is how they're adapting. Some are setting boundaries, like an educator who always creates lesson plans themselves. Others are diversifying their skills or taking on more specialized tasks.
Like that pastor who said AI could handle admin work so they could be with the people?
Exactly, he emphasized good boundaries and not becoming so dependent on AI that I can't do what I'm called to do. There's this pattern across all these interviews of people trying to figure out which parts of their job define their professional identity versus which parts are just tasks.
And they want to keep the identity stuff.
Right. A communications professional predicted their job would eventually become focused around prompting, overseeing, training, and quality controlling the models rather than actually doing the work. That's the future a lot of people are imagining. Human as overseer, AI as executor.
Okay, so let's zoom out. What does all this mean?
First, we're in this weird transitional moment where people's self-perception hasn't caught up with their actual behavior. We want to see ourselves as collaborating with AI, when we're often just delegating to it.
And that's creating this underground economy of AI use, where people are getting benefits but afraid to talk about it.
Which is actually harmful, because if everyone's secretly using AI but pretending they're not, you can't have honest conversations about best practices, limitations, ethical concerns. It stays hidden.
What about the tools themselves? Are they good enough for what people actually need?
That depends on the domain. For routine tasks, writing emails, editing content, debugging code, they're clearly working. The productivity gains are real. But for core creative decisions or scientific hypothesis generation, we're not there yet.
So there's this gap between the hype and the reality.
Exactly. And here's what really struck me. Different professions are having completely different emotional experiences with the same technology. Game developers and visual artists showed high satisfaction paired with elevated worry. Designers showed the opposite, high frustration with low satisfaction. Scientists are satisfied but frustrated. It's not one story, it's dozens of stories happening simultaneously.
Which makes sense, because a tool that helps you write code faster has a completely different impact than a tool that might replace your entire creative profession.
Right. And the study found that trust remains consistently low across almost all groups. Even when people are using AI successfully, they don't quite trust it yet.
First, be honest with yourself about how you're using AI. Are you collaborating with it, or is it doing the work while you supervise? Neither is wrong, but you should know which one you're doing.
Because self-awareness affects how you approach it.
Exactly. Second, if you're in a field where there's stigma around AI use, consider being more open about it. The stigma only persists when everyone hides their usage. You don't have to announce every time you use ChatGPT, but you could normalize it by occasionally mentioning it.
What about organizations? What should they be doing?
They need to create space for honest conversations about AI use without judgment. Because right now, 69% of people feel they can't talk about it openly at work. That's a problem. It means people aren't sharing what works, what doesn't, and what the pitfalls are.
And for anyone worried about job displacement,
The data suggests focusing on tasks that define your professional identity, the things that make you valuable beyond just executing tasks. One data quality manager said they approach AI like studying a foreign language. Just using a translator app won't teach you anything, but having a tutor who can answer questions is really helpful.
that's a great analogy. Use it as a learning tool, not a replacement for learning.
And remember, only 8% of people in this study expressed anxiety without any clear plan for adapting. Most people are actively figuring out how to evolve their roles.
So here's what I'm taking away. We're all in this weird moment where the story we tell ourselves about AI doesn't match what we're actually doing with it. And that gap between perception and reality is creating confusion, stigma, and missed opportunities for honest conversation.
The technology is already here. It's already changing how we work. The question is whether we're going to be honest about that change or keep pretending we're more in control than we actually are.
Next time you use AI for something, whether it's drafting an email or debugging code, ask yourself, am I collaborating with this tool or is it doing the work while I watch? The answer might surprise you.
And that's self-awareness. That's the first step to using these tools intentionally rather than just reactively.
Yakov Lasker, thanks for breaking this down with me. This has been Innovation Pulse. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks, Donna.
We've explored how Yoodli is revolutionizing communication with AI tools and Awear's innovative stress management wearables, alongside Anthropic's study on the gap between perceived and actual AI use in professional settings. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode with your friends and colleagues so they can also stay updated on the latest news and gain powerful insights. Stay tuned for more updates.